disconnects, you brought up disconnects. You know who else is at a disconnect recently?
What?
The Houston Outlaws. And they're on our third list of underperformers so far. We've had our top and our under, and they're our third and final on that list. And I have to say that they started out really, really bad, Jayne. They were a contender early on the season of being potentially the worst team in the league. Yeah. Very early. But now they beat in Paris. They're on the up and up. This seems like they finally felt it. Hero pools, they're playing composition that feels very confident with them. They're putting Blase on the Doom and Dante on a Tracer and Sombra and Moom on Winston. They're seeming like a team that's back on track. But early on in the season, and even still right now, they're currently only 2-5. And they're looking still pretty rough, even though they've been on the up and up recently.
And my heart goes out to the Houston Outlaws here. Not the fans, because fans are crazy. But
not the fans. Anything but them.
Anything but them. No, like the Houston Outlaws themselves, they have had a rough season off the stage. They've had problems with their original team house where they had to move out because of zoning or whatever it was.
No, it was a homeowner association.
It was a homeowner.
They got
That's
really
even
mad.
better.
All the people, because they lived in a very bougie part of Houston, and all the people there were like, "Why are all these gamers at this house?" And they kicked them out. So
young children, get out.
It was not a good look for them.
Yeah, so like if you are one of the crazy Houston Outlaws fan, you can definitely find excuses for why the start of the season didn't go well. And when we're looking at things like Dream, I've always been a big fan of Dream. I originally encountered him.
are?
Yeah, I like Dream.
That is very different from the public opinion of Dream.
I know. So
like
one of the things is that I held like a coaching competition back when I was first getting big on Twitch, and Dream actually won it. That was like that was his first appearances. He just submitted a piece of coaching work to one of my open contests, and I was really impressed with him back before he was known.
I can hear the Redditors reeing already over this now, Jayne. I can hear it.
I know, but you know what? It's true. And I always like to kind of keep track of the people who I encounter really early on in their careers. So I've been following Dream, and I've worked with him before. I really like his stuff, and I like to see that he's still confident despite the overwhelming wave of negativity that he is understandably and wave of losses. But you got to admire the balls that he had for that tweet going into the Paris Eternal game.
Yeah, it was a good tweet. It spawned many a copy pasta since then. It's been become a meme, but the confidence is good, right? It's always better to be a coach that's overconfident in your team and then takes responsibility for the losses than it is to be one that is invisible or throws people under the bus, or that's the goal of a coach, right? Is like you are the shield for your players in a lot of way, and you're supposed to believe in your team, and it's your job to sort of lead them. And it's even more so, I think, this season where we add this flexibility and fundamental. And Dream has done a good job.
Yeah, and team morale is super important in Overwatch. There's a lot of qualitatives, communication, teamwork, all those fancy buzzwords. Like they really do matter in Overwatch. They really, really do. But yeah, Dream's tweet where he said that man for man, they have 6 better players than the Paris Eternal. I'm not sure whether or not that's actually
maybe the case.
Maybe.
But they did win.
They did win. They did win
decisively.
Yeah, and we have listed Paris Eternal as one of our heavier hitters. And then so you have this rough start. You have potentially excuses why that rough start is, maybe affecting them. The sickness, the homeowners association, just being the Outlaws in the first place. And then you have a win against the Paris Eternal. But despite that, there's storms on the horizon, and I know that we'll be talking more about this on our Friday
storms
show.
on the horizon.
Storms on the horizon,
because we are going to talk about our Friday show, hopefully.
Yes.
But you talked about being Houston.
Yes.
Well, in the most quintessential Houston thing possible, once Houston start doing better, what is your natural reaction? We'll give you a couple options. Do we continue along the same path?
No.
Do we perhaps make some moderate changes? Or do you behead your entire management team in the middle of a health endemic?
Everyone!
That is the Houston strategy where they recently found out that Flame was let go, Chris was let go from the Houston, the manager, the president of the Outlaws, and then Mezer announced that he's quitting.
To be fair, they've used this strategy before. Last year when they actually sold the team, the team immediately started doing better.
But this is in stage 4, right?
Yeah.
So one could make the argument that I feel like in stage 4 there was a meta shift. So who knows if it was actually the team
No, I
sold.
guarantee you that correlation equals causation.
You think the correlation 100%? You have the evidence to say?
We have statistical quantitative evidence that massive management changes equals winning games when you're the Houston Outlaws.
And completely unrelated to anything game.
They've already gained momentum. They wanted to continue that momentum.
So you have to
fired everyone. Yeah.
As you know, if it's not broke, 100% fix it. 100% just get on in there and change it up entirely. And especially when there's a health crisis going on, what's most important is that CoolMat69 is your one piece of management left.
Interim
in the Houston
GM.
Outlaws. That is the most, and esports Chad. Those are your two pieces of management that aren't directed like the Beasley Group, the ownership.
Shout out to Chad,
Outlaws.
who's going to be mad about everything we're saying about the Houston Outlaws.
He got very mad at me at one point earlier. But the point is that the whole point is that they've lost all this when it seems like they're riding the ship.
And we don't have any kind of big communication or messaging from the Houston Outlaws currently. Trying to find out. Well, we're on the case. Don't worry about it, ladies and gentlemen. But what are are there any kind of gameplay reasons? Is this purely business? Like, speculate for a second.
I mean, to be fair, Houston have not been what we would call a storied franchise.
No.
They did retire Jake's jersey, some to the awe of some in various forms of awe, like why, or and others like there was when you got to that Houston homestand, there was a feeling of dread, and they were like, what can we do to make this better? We're gonna retire Jake's jersey, and to be fair, it worked. I mean, and there's no reason they can't do it, but it's just weird. So they haven't had they haven't had legitimately any huge success in stage 1, season 1. Okay, so it has been almost getting close to 3 years, but now they're finally picking up again, and it seems weird that and Flame's been in charge of that for most of it. Now in season 2, they had ownership problems, so they didn't have a lot of budget necessarily. They couldn't get a lot of staff that they may have wanted. But it seems weird that now is the time, in the middle of COVID and the league changing, and also with the results picking up. Seems weird that this is the time. Seems weird this is the time to choose it. We're not having replacements, there. And I think that you have to just search for answers because I don't have them currently.
Outside of the management, let's bring this back onto the actual team. At the very start, we saw some interesting gameplay. Blase got memed pretty damn hard for his McCree play, and we saw some other rather interesting performances from the actual Houston Outlaws. But as they kind of progressed in and did get their, the increase in their performance, what were kind of the main things that changed in your perspective?
I mean, because I did that interview with Blase recently, and Blase just said, we just started playing what we were good at. And a lot of people imagine, right? And the ghost of Monty, well, not the ghost, Monty's not dead, but Monty is currently not in Overwatch League. And so, Monty is chuckling just evilly somewhere in the corner. And Blase said, we started playing what we're good at. We came together with the coaches, and the coaches agreed, we just need to play what we're feeling confident with. And a lot of Overwatch gets overanalyzed at times where it's like, oh, look at this incredible set play. But really, it's just players having that instinctual feeling.
There are a lot of things that are just completely adaptable.
Yeah, and just you make a split decision. And when players are feeling comfortable and in roles and heroes they're feeling very comfortable with, they just intuitively make good decisions. And obviously, there's a layer of communication and ult management, things like that goes along with it. That's all part of the coaching. But it's really not that deep occasionally. And Houston just said, let's play what we're good at, which was like,
and this could also be going back to the overcoaching versus the undercoaching versus, or not undercoaching, but going to more of a player led coaching style. If they are, Dream is obviously a rookie coach in the Overwatch League going in. Maybe he wants to, prove his mettle or really do a lot of work. Overcoaches kind of locks players down into prison, which I've seen. If you try and mandate or regiment what players are, or try and actually make set plays, in the mind of a player or a team, you can have it sometimes where that's pretty much the only thing that person's allowed to do. If you have a plan, you stick to the plan. You can't adapt and improvise. And if you run into something off book, you really need to be able to do that. And if you are going to be adapting, you're going to be wanting to do it on the heroes that you are most comfortable on, most familiar with. So if this is going to be a shift overall in terms of the coaching staff working with the players, trying to find something that both people are most comfortable in a way that the coaching staff can actually assist the players instead of trying to structure them or fit them into a square hole when they're a circle, then maybe despite the executions of management that hopes are alive for the Houston Outlaws.
I mean, the beatings will continue until morale improves, and that's sort of where we're at.